Surrey is the new Vancouver and Abbotsford is the new Surrey. Whether you like it or not, Surrey is on the come up, and a lot of people still like to refute the idea that Surrey could ever be anything like Vancouver, but it's happening. And in this video, I'm going to be covering what sucks about Vancouver, why it's going to be the new Vancouver, and what Surrey is currently missing for it to become the next Vancouver. Vancouver used to be a little fisherman town, and back in the day, I don't think they exactly planned for it to become as big as it has. And a large portion of the current housing that exists within downtown Vancouver isn't aligned with current modern building trends. A lot of the condo buildings in Vancouver don't have very many amenities. There's no real architectural wow to them. They're just kind of gray rectangles in the sky with a bunch of windows, don't really have very many amenities and things of that nature. And it would take a long time to actually change that because we'd have to knock down a bunch of existing product, which is concrete and should last 100 years to eventually replace that product with the new style product that we're currently building. And a lot of the underground services, at least to the best of my knowledge, that exist are super old, and I don't even know if they would allow for the new type of, residential buildings that we're currently building in, say, Brentwood and Surrey and even parts of downtown Vancouver. Because a newer, updated housing model would look something more like a Brentwood. You can see at the bottom of the 2 or 3 towers that exist in Brentwood's core, they basically have a mall there, a bunch of restaurants, and different things that you can do pretty much right outside the entrance of your building. And unfortunately, you won't find that in 99% of the product that exists in downtown Vancouver. There might be a small cafe or something like that at the bottom of the building, but it doesn't really go much further than that. Now, Surrey, on the other hand, still has a ton of usable land to work with within its downtown core. If you can imagine this analogy that I've created is, Surrey's basically a blank canvas, and at one point, Vancouver was a blank canvas. And the artist who painted Vancouver's canvas, it was very early on in his career. Over the years, he's learned a ton more about painting, he's gained more knowledge, he's perfected his craft, and now he gets a second chance to repaint that canvas with Surrey, knowing what he knows today that he didn't know back then. So naturally, the Surrey canvas should be a little bit better because he's going into that one with new knowledge of what to do and what not to do. And Surrey is also a much bigger canvas to work with that, in my opinion, has better existing infrastructure. The roads are wider, the services are newer, and the highway is right beside downtown Surrey. See, one of the biggest problems, in my opinion, that Vancouver has is that to get to downtown Vancouver, you have to get off at First Ave and then drive 30 minutes in traffic to actually get to the city core. And Surrey's obviously not going to have that issue because Highway 1 is right there, and then you also have the Patello Bridge that goes into New West. And the way we're building today, as opposed to when most of Vancouver was constructed, is just way smarter. Yes, the units are smaller today than they were back then, but these buildings are also providing way more amenities within the building so that you don't have to spend as much time in your 400 square foot unit. They have gyms, they have rooftop patios with barbecues, they have golf simulators, they have lounges, they have restaurants, they have co-working spaces, they have yoga rooms. A lot of them are getting built with a community mindset, so you're not just buying into a home, you're actually buying into a community. It might be something like 2 or 3 buildings all in the same area, and at the bottom of those 2 or 3 buildings, like I said, you have restaurants, cafes, grocery stores, possibly a pub. You have a courtyard in the middle where people can hang out. They are incorporating unique architecture with almost every single new launch. You put this all together and forecast that out 20 years down the road, and I see Surrey, specifically the downtown core, being better than Vancouver's. Imagine Brentwood, but 5 times the size. So that being the case, what is Surrey actually missing so that they can get there? Well, with any flourishing metropolitan city, you need high-paying white-collar jobs. And there are fewer high-paying jobs in some commercial towers within Surrey, but not really enough. So what Surrey is really missing right now, in my opinion, is just more commercial towers to bring more high-paying white-collar jobs. And I think when that happens, you're going to see a shift, because right now it's always been you commute from Surrey to Vancouver for your high-paying white-collar job. And I think what we're going to start seeing is that you commute from the suburbs of Surrey to get to your high paying job. And when that happens, you're basically gonna see Langley become like a Burnaby, and you're gonna see Abbotsford become the new Surrey. And I think Surrey itself is going to detach from historical expectations of what price needs to be, because it's always been, well, Vancouver's this price, that means Burnaby needs to be this price. And if Burnaby's this price, then Coquitlam needs to be that price. And you're kind of already seeing that right now with Brentwood pre-construction pricing. Brentwood pre-construction pricing is already trading at a premium and higher than a lot of areas in Vancouver. And what I think is gonna happen is you're gonna see the new product that comes to market in Surrey start to detach from those old expectations of price. It's no longer gonna be, well, Coquitlam's this price, and that means Surrey needs to be this price. It's just gonna be, Surrey is this price because it's Surrey. And as always, if you wanna buy or sell, give me a ring. My number's in the description. I am that Agent Kelly, and I'm making moves to move you. Peace.